The Steam Next Festival begins on Monday the 13th, but developers are getting the jump on the action with demos of these games being available right now, from Metroidvanias, action-adventure games, roguelites, beat-em-ups and much more. So let's begin with Tearscape, a dark gothic 2D top-down action-adventure game where you play as a hunter traversing a twisted, interconnected world full of secrets, dungeons and grotesque monsters. Combat is precise and intense, where every slash, dodge and hit matters, where you need to manage stamina and a limited number of healing items, and is essentially 3/4 view Bloodborne for all intents and purposes. You are getting new tools and abilities, which unlock paths and shortcuts, so Zelda or Metroidvania inspiration, along with environmental puzzles to solve. Bosses are monstrous, as expected, so you need to read their patterns and exploit openings, with an awesome Game Boy Color era inspired pixel art style and looks great. Desert Race Adventures is a retro-inspired racing strategy roguelite where you lead your team across Europe and Africa, managing both crew and vehicle through unpredictable terrain and events. You pick your team, manage fuel, food and spare parts, then drive onto roads and through jungles and deserts, dealing with random events like bad weather, wild animals and even bandit encounters, with a cool throwback pixel art look as well. This video is brought to you by Noodle Games, who are making Cloudheim, a 1-to-4 player cooperative third-person action RPG built on chaotic physics-driven combat, where you and your squad can drag down pillars onto your enemies, lasso them in mid-air, shoot enemies out of cannons, or even to kick explosive barrels into enemy hordes. The game constantly rewards creative teamwork, where a player might launch an enemy into the air, which is then followed up by a blast by your teammate, which sends the enemy crashing into a destructible wall, having a playful sense of exploration to the combat mechanics in particular. Loot, weapons and crafted items can be shared across teammates, and you even have a home base in a workshop built on top of Odin Shell, a massive ancient turtle with the visual nature of crafting, meaning that all players will feel like they are a part of the game as compared to the more static infantry-based systems of other games in the space. You can always see what the other players are doing, be it exploration, gathering, crafting or more, and is going for a vibe similar to that of Valheim. You also run a shop to sell crafted items, using profits to purchase more upgrades, which allows you to take on more dangerous missions. Its playtest has been very well received, so if interested, their demo for the Steam Next Festival is live now and will be available until 20th October, so try it, wishlist the game, and look forward to the release later in 2025. Another bottom-of-screen idle game of interest is Nano Neighbors, a low-stress idle life sim that lives right on your desktop, turning your computer screen into a cozy home for a little companion called a Nano. While you work, study or play, the Nano inhabits the bottom of your display, doing activities, lounging around or interacting with friends. You customize your Nano's look, decorate its capsule home and assign it jobs and mini objectives, and watch it earn rewards or income while you're doing something else. Interestingly, they describe this as an online idle game, so I believe internet connectivity will be required, with the social layer being baked in, since friends Nanos can visit your capsule, chat, hang around and play games together. There's also Discord and Twitch integration, so whether you're a content creator or just generally hang out in Discord chat with your friends, I think there's more to this game. Of course, there are a variety of unlockables, including furniture and other cosmetic decorations, having a wonderful pixel art style and looks pleasant. Super Serious Golf is a super not serious, wild, physics-driven party game centered around the concept of golf, but adds their own spin on this. 2 to 8 players compete against each other in rounds that feel less like a sport and more like mayhem, as you use power-ups, bounce around hazards, and laugh at the unpredictable results. Minigame modes vary, such as having to hit targets, sabotage others, or to make tricky shots under weird constraints, with the rules constantly changing to keep everyone on their toes. You can customize the look of your ball, which is all earned in-game without microtransactions. As such, it looks like one of the games that you would bust out when your friends are around, so if curious, do give the demo a try. I've been keeping an eye on Hungry Horrors for a little while, since this is a roguelite deck builder where you're trying to feed monsters instead of killing them before you become a snack. Cooking is your weapon, where you have to prepare traditional British and Irish dishes like haggis, pies, or regional desserts, serving them to mythical creatures from folklore such as Grendel, Black Annis, and Jenny Greenteeth. Where I have to say, I'm not exactly familiar with British and Irish folklore, so that would be interesting to read up on. You assemble a deck of recipes, manage ingredients, and plan which dishes to serve based on their preferences. Some loathe potatoes, others crave sweet or bitter notes, so your strategy lies in reading their hunger and matching their demand in an almost mastermind kind of manner as you puzzle it out. Between runs, you return to your base, unlock new ingredients and recipes, improve your culinary repertoire, and carry forward upgrades that gives you more options on subsequent runs. I especially love the pixel art and animations here, blending whimsy and menace, and it's something different in this space. All Hands on Deck is a joyful co-op puzzle platformer in the vein of games like Biped, where you and a friend literally become hens in search of lost plushies across whimsical fantasy worlds. You play as lefty and righty, changing forms such as becoming rock, paper, or scissors, each with unique abilities like punching obstacles, grabbing items, and high fives, to snipping through barriers as you solve puzzles and progress forward. The levels are packed with tools like extendable arms, rubber bands, and paint, which can be combined in creative ways. Work together and make your way through colourful worlds filled with secret areas to explore and an increasing number of new mechanics and puzzles. This is a true co-op game, so you need to rely on the other player since some puzzles cannot be solved without cooperation. The colourful, cartoony, toy-like world looks wonderful, extending to the expressive animations of the characters, and looks very fun with a friend. Quick note on Shard Squad before we go on. Since the demo for this monster taming Vampire Survivors like is live right now, but we'll be getting an update on Monday with more content, but I do love the art and monster taming games in general, so I want to give it a mention. You are assembling a squad of creatures, each with different elemental affinities, using these powers to defend the world from hordes of monsters and powerful bosses. Team composition matters as you select from over 20 of these creatures in the full game, spread across 5 elements of fire, water, electric, nature, and crystal, each having unique attacks, abilities, and traits. Having multiple creatures with the same trait enhances them and increases the power of your squad. There are also powerful relics to collect, which function in the same way as most roguelites, contributing to your build for the run and could lead to overpowered combinations. I'm excited to discover all the creature designs since that is the best part of games like this, combined with the compelling gameplay loop of a Bullet Heaven title, and it has my attention.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Gone is the red skin tone of the protagonist in BioMenace Remastered, a new version of the 1993 Apogee classic made for modern times, where I have distinct memories of playing the original back in my youth and was happy to see this in my inbox. You play as Snake Logan, a top secret CIA operative sent to stop a villain named Dr. Mango, who, with his army of monsters, has overrun Metro City and is now threatening the world. Run, jump, shoot, and toss grenades as you make your way through the city, eventually getting into a forest, caves, and a secret lab. If I remember correctly, this should feel kind of old school in design, but they have added modern polish with widescreen support, smooth scrolling, 60+ FPS support, quick saves, modern HUD and UI, and the option to toggle between the original and updated visuals at any time, all while rebalancing difficulty and adding quality of life improvements. The 3 original episodes are included with a total of 36+ levels, and there's even a brand new episode 4 with 14+ new levels. It's definitely the nostalgia goggles talking, since I remember having a great time with this back in the day, although it might have only been the freeware version or something, since I don't remember completing it per se. So 2025 is as good a time as any to revisit this classic. Hunter's Moon, a Sovereign Syndicate adventure, is a roguelite deck builder spin-off of the narrative CRPG, having the same Victorian steampunk setting, and is actually a prequel, plunging you into a world twisted by plague and corruption. You choose from one of 4 distinct agents, specializing in strength, alchemy, weapons, and more, and build the deck as you explore the haunting streets and forbidden districts, engaging in turn-based combat against beasts and monstrous hybrids. Each run feels different due to cards, relics, and enchanted tarot modifiers, with permanent progression between runs, including airship upgrades. This looks to follow in the footsteps of Slay the Spire, with the energy system and how enemy intent and status effects are displayed, but does look like a well-made one of these with a cool theme. Isekat, crushed by a computer, my beloved Kitten is transported to a fantasy world where its typing skills save the kingdom, wins the distinction for one of the longest game titles that I have come across recently, and is a quirky typing RPG where a cat is isekai'd into a fantasy world, anime style, and now has to type to save the kingdom. You move through dungeons, battling monsters, disarming traps, unlocking chests, and fighting bosses, all by typing out the words that appear before you in a timely fashion. On top of attacking, you can block enemy attacks as well, having to learn the attack patterns of enemies in order to counter them successfully. Interestingly, other than typing, there is a kingdom rebuilding aspect where you earn a currency named catnip used to pay off the builder Bobcat for all this restoration work. You're also rescuing other cat people, adding a more well-rounded aspect to the game rather than just solely being a typing game. Being clever as a concept and kind of cute, even if there are some rough edges. But it's interesting, so I thought I'll give it a shout out. It's October, so you know that means spooky titles, where you're looking at Riddlewood Manor here, a point-and-click horror puzzle adventure game where every room feels alive with danger, and the mansion itself seems to toy with you. You arrive at the manor not just to explore, but to survive, having to avoid the attempts by the haunted house itself to kill you. You have to find clues and key items, solving puzzles and uncovering more about the dark secrets of the Riddlewood family history. A demonic doll named Susie stalks the halls, appearing when you least expect it to, and even if you die, death isn't the end since you respawn and try again, with multiple solutions to the puzzles, so you have the gift of knowledge the more you play. Despite the creepy vibe, there are some odd and perhaps whimsical characters, including a derpy chicken, an eccentric dragon, spirit children, ghostly guests, and more, where some will help, others will mislead, and many exist in shades of grey. Do note that there are jump scares in this game, but the developers does include the option to turn on jump scare warnings so you can brace for impact, having an art style that reminds me of Flash games in a good way and is releasing very soon. A newly revealed title is GNAW, a dinosaur Metroidvania, so of course I'm in. Set in New Dino City, a once prosperous saurian metropolis is now spiraling towards extinction, and you play as Mac Ripley, a dinosaur transformed by strange science, having to bite, spit, and chomp your way through twisted urban zones. You bounce off walls, spit projectiles, dive bomb, and combine skills in acrobatic sequences to scale skyscrapers, navigate the sewers, and cross skywalks. Combat mixes range and melee, where you need to learn enemy attack patterns, doubly so for bosses. As you collect new powers, this opens up previously locked regions, letting you backtrack through areas with new paths. I really liked the hand-drawn cartoony art as well, which is bold and expressive, with vibrant colours and sleek animations, so if you're a fan of the genre, this is a no-brainer pick. RoadOut is a post-apocalyptic action RPG that fuses two unexpected genres, firstly driving through the wastelands in high-stakes races, and then hop out and storm dungeons on foot, fighting, crafting, and exploring all in one chaotic world. You play as Claire, a mercenary for hire in the Dead Zone, carrying out contracts ranging from deliveries, sabotage, and assassinations, while also delving into her own past and the mystery of the AI that now rules the land. On the road, your car is a weapon and tool which can be upgraded, mounting weapons and firing them while racing in intense high-speed action and exploration. On foot, this more resembles an action-adventure game with a variety of weapons, engaging in combat against mutant creatures and huge bosses. It is the post-apocalypse, so there are body mods and cybernetic enhancements for our main character as she gets stronger to take on more difficult missions, and also has to walk the tightrope when it comes to the different factions that you have to appease. Critically, this is not a roguelite and does actually have a central narrative with the various choices you make affecting the ending you get, drawing upon Zelda, GTA and rock and roll racing with an awesome pixel art look as well. Mazey Village is a gentle, cozy town restoration adventure game where a devastating tornado has scattered homes, villages, and precious belongings across the maze-like landscape. Navigate your way through and find what was lost, returning them to their rightful owners, rebuilding the village and restoring warmth to your community. As you explore, you will find hidden treasures, befriend talking animals, and recruit tiny critters to help search and carry, all in service of the restoration, upgrading, and customization of the village. Place decorations, restore homes, plant gardens, and shape how the town looks and feels, where each house you rebuild and each item that you return brings villagers home, telling small stories about loss, memory, and reconnection. I absolutely love the art style and the vibe of this game, so while it might lean more casual, there's a bit of an Animal Crossing-like charm to the game, but is fully single player, and also doesn't seem to have the time pressure of games like Stardew Valley that restrict the number of actions you can take per day, being much more relaxing to the degree of being meditative. Switching gears, we are back to a creepy title in Beyond the Doors, an atmospheric horror exploration game wrapped in automation and surveillance mechanics set inside a dim apartment building. Each night, your task is to place recording devices at the neighbors' doors, link them together into a network, and funnel audio back to your basement office for analysis. You don't just wander aimlessly, but have to optimize wiring, repair broken communication chains, and upgrade your setup so that more devices feed into your system without interference. Spend credits to unlock better tools, strengthening signal integrity and expanding your reach deeper into the building. But beware, since seemingly random events may occur during exploration, such as mysterious knocking sounds, doors that open themselves, and more, even if I don't think there's a monster lurking about per se. There's talk of a different universe hiding behind the maze of doors and corridors, nailing exactly what they are going for in atmospheric horror. Underboard is a tactical auto-battler roguelite where you have to draft and upgrade a complementary team of units, using them to battle enemies and explore the map. Characters have synergistic traits, so you need to find great combos, then equip them with items and cast spells that boost or influence their performance without direct control of the action. As your team fights through monster-filled arenas on randomized maps, they will gain XP and level up, and can be upgraded by drafting more characters of the same traits, even being able to unlock their evolved version after defeating bosses, with supposedly thousands of possibilities due to the various units, items, and synergies for you to explore. Maps have a fog of war, so you need to be careful when exploring, weighing risk and reward as you move towards the map boss. I like the art style, especially the unit and card designs, having an appeal similar to games like Isekat and should be awesome. Origament, a paper adventure, is a pretty chill looking 3D exploration platformer where you play as a living letter, striving to reach the one who still waits for you. You fold into various paper forms from a plane, boat, ball, shuriken, and more, then use each shape's unique movement over landscapes, both vast and intimate, to solve puzzles, cross chasms, sail across rivers, and even travel through time. It's a gentle kind of game in that while there are puzzle elements to it, I don't think it's one of those intense twitch action style of precision platformer, rather allowing you to explore and figure things out at your own pace, gain new forms as the game progresses, which unlocks more traversal options, possibly allowing you to access secrets or alternative paths in the level. The music, soundtrack, and visuals match the tone and even has an adorable cat as its mascot, looking wonderfully pleasant and is worth a look. Another title which I have my eye on is Identifile Desktop Dungeon, a kind of meta action roguelite where you control a cursor in a virtual desktop environment which has become infected. Folders have turned into dungeons, files into secrets, and viruses into monsters, so you need to nimbly use your cursor to get past these hazards. Move your mouse and avoid danger while deleting threats, leveling up by extracting exe files that sharpen your power over time. Every run plays like the exploration of your file system, with each drive being a world of its own, with its own theme, hazards, and boss lurking at the roots. Gameplay is also varied, from reacting to time-based challenges to bullet hell avoidant maps and some puzzle-like elements as well, looking like a mini-game collection which is certainly different. As you play, you can unlock new cursor types, mods, and loot, adding abilities like being able to draw circles, burst attacks, or more defense-oriented upgrades like shields. This releases very soon in November, making the next fest a great time to check it out, and looks like potential hidden gem material. I love my farming games, which is why Cosmic Coop has my attention, but critically, this is inspired by Viva Pinata, which I loved back in the day, and I'm honestly surprised that Xbox has still not followed up with a remake or a sequel. So leave it to indie developers to save the day once again. This drops you onto a strange planet after a crash landing where you find a farmhouse and get to work, rebuilding connections among alien critterlings. You farm, explore, collect creatures, and craft tools to rehabilitate the land and unlock hidden secrets across the world. As you cultivate crops, attract critterlings, build structures, and decorate your space, you gradually restore balance and life to the world. The adorable critterlings take center stage, looking for the most part like regular animals but with some interesting twists. Every critterling has unique tastes, behavior, and gift rewards, so learning about them will be key to your long-term success. You can venture beyond your homestead into mysterious biomes, engage in side quests, discover rare materials, and go to town and talk to NPCs, revealing more about the world and the critterlings themselves. The pixel art is vibrant and very well done, and given the inspiration, if it manages to nail Viva Pinata, then it could be something huge. One of the prettiest titles that I've come across is Outside the Blocks, a realistic diorama sandbox builder that allows you to craft intricate, detailed models, tinkering with and adjusting every aspect of it to perfection, following in the footsteps of games like Townscaper and Tiny Glade, but taken to the extreme. There are no points, enemies, combat, score, or any restrictions really, simply allowing you to tinker with terrain, objects, lighting, and weather to create that perfect model. Shape the land with terrain tools and snap together modular items to create houses and buildings, sprinkling in animated characters and decorative elements, then tweak and customize to your heart's content. This is a purely creative title, which I could see being useful for creative types if you're trying to create a video game, going to DM a tabletop RPG, or are looking to create worlds in novels or TV shows or the like. There's a layer system, so you can specifically affect parts of it without changing everything else, looking like a powerful creation tool, so check out the demo and play around with this. From the developer of Ring of Pain comes Winnie's Hole, a genre-blending roguelite strategy puzzle deck builder where you play as a virus slinking through the body of Winnie, mutating the cuddly bear from within, spreading corruption with both stealth and ferocity. You explore randomly generated landscapes on the inside, going through organs, veins, and such, infecting them by placing Tetramino-like virus block shapes to expand your reach, infect new cells, and unlock new mutations. Eventually, the host will come into contact with enemies, switching to side-scrolling turn-based combat, but where you're not playing cards but using blocks instead. Alternatives to Slay the Spire are always welcome, since new systems and mechanics to learn keeps my mind engaged, but there's always the risk when going too experimental with systems, so my respect goes out to developers taking a wild swing at things. There's meta progression with new unlocks after every round, although it should be noted that if you love the cute and cuddly version of this character, seeing it all twisted and mutated might be pretty upsetting. I remember coming across the Spirit Lift quite a while ago, So I was pleasantly surprised to see it in the next festival, being a roguelite deck builder with horror overtones, taking place inside a haunted hotel filled with changing rooms, cursed guests, and supernatural secrets. You play as one of several 1990s teenagers who stumbles upon a mysterious elevator that pulls you into its shifting dimensions. Each run has you climbing floor by floor, exploring eerie hallways, collecting cards, and piecing together what binds the hotel's restless spirits. It's an energy system based card combat system, so nothing too crazy or innovative here. Also having relics and gear, but where you're allowed to explore the floor in first person, looking kind of similar to blueprints. When you die, the hotel resets, but you unlock new cards, permanent upgrades, and fragments of the story that reveal the truth behind the elevator's curse, and looks like a well-made one of these. Another title that has previewed well in playtests and demos is World 2, taking feedback and improving even the demo so you can try the new version right now. This builds on the mining roguelite foundation of its predecessor, this time allowing you to push deeper into the enigmatic wall with new biomes, tougher enemies, and new traversal mechanics. You pilot a robo-spider and wear an exosuit as you tunnel through procedurally generated mines, fighting monster hordes, gathering resources, and unearthing lost technologies to survive. Upgrade parts of your vehicle from legs to weapons, armor, and more, depending on the threats you face and your intended strategy in dealing with them. Monsters emerge not only on the surface, but also deep within the wall, so you need to be able to handle both. And between expeditions, you return to Spear City, a hub area where you install your upgrades, plot your next run, and piece together clues hidden in the wall, as you attempt to get to whatever is on the other side and thus have its appeal. One of the sleekest looking upcoming action RPGs is Anima Gate of Memories 1 and 2 Remaster, a game that combines two titles from 2016 and 2018, giving them a fresh new coat of paint and modern polish, where if the comparison video is anything to go by, quite a bit of work has gone into this. Explore the world in third person, being able to switch between characters on the fly, and even in combat as you create seamless combos. Outside of combat, explore the interconnected world in what almost looks like a JRPG, and come across unique handcrafted locations, take on side missions, and really fleshes out the world. It is an RPG, so there is leveling, stats, skills, and more, with relics that alter how the characters play and gives you more options in terms of finesse or brute force. I do expect the epic JRPG style narrative as well, of powerful god-like beings and interconnected fates, where I did not play the original games, which seems to be okay, so I'm definitely interested in this new version since it looks very promising, with a follow-up titled Anima Song from the Abyss being in the works as well. Alright, of course this comes with a huge caveat since Marvel Cosmic Invasion uses the Marvel IP and characters, but does come to us from indie developer Tribute Games known once upon a time for Flint Hook and Wizard, which are very underrated, and most recently made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge and are hoping to replicate the success of that game with a new IP. This is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up where Marvel's most iconic heroes unite to repel an intergalactic threat. There are 15 playable characters, which, as you might expect, vary quite a bit, and you're selecting between any two per level and can seamlessly swap between them. This looks absolutely amazing, with the designs leaning towards X-Men vs Street Fighter, and is a part of the revival of this genre. Watch this video for more of the best indie games.